We have a situation which we have a union, Antigua Workers Union, that feel that they can make any amount of demands on the government and government agencies when it comes to salaries and wages. Now, if we don't control salaries and wages, it can be inflationary, or it could undermine the sustainability of the government or the particular entity. And one of the entities within the government that if we don't control salaries and wages, that we're going to have a problem of sustainability is the Antigua Port Authority. And I'm at the stage right now, I'm going to continue to speak truth to power. If you want to punish me or vote against me, that's fine. Again, my objective here is not political preservation or preservation of power, but to tell workers about the risk that they are likely to develop if they make unreasonable demands. Clearly, the Antigua Workers Union does not care. They want the government to fail. So they will go into an entity and ask a 20-30% increase with the hope that they can settle for 10-15. Now, some of these workers must be real with themselves. And I'm going to give a typical example. We have longshoremen. They're laborers down at the port, taking home $160,000 a year when you add the overtime and so on and the royalties. You know what I said? Longshoremen, laborers down at the port making $160,000 a year. And I don't envy them. I love when people make money. But the question is, can the port sustain that type of pay?
160 annually.
I have the list here, I can go through it,
Wow.
I won't call any names. But in fact, I'm going to show you all off here. Again, I don't envy them. But we have to determine whether or not the port can sustain those kind of salaries or remuneration, because it's not just salary. You know, it is different remunerations over time and so on. But notwithstanding the fact that you have longshoremen making that kind of money, the union is still trying to press the Antigua Port Authority to pay them more. So we have taken a position that before any further negotiations take place, we want a review of the operations. And I want to say to the port workers, I'm not threatening their jobs. So let me start by saying that.
This is Antigua breaking news.
But think about the value of your labor and whether or not if you lose your work, if you can even command a job of $3,000 a month. Think about it. Because some of them, they're ignorant. And they feel as though that perhaps they need to make $10,000 a month, even though they're just a laborer, they come with a specific skill.
Breaking news.
And they feel that they can push and undermine the operations of the port, that they can strike, that they can bring the port to a halt. Well, I'm going to send them a little message early and bright here, We have to fix the port operations. And if we find ourselves in a situation where they try to lock down the port, then we will consider alternatives. So we will consult with them. We will have serious discussions with them. We'll try and protect their existing income the best way we can. But any attempt to try and exacerbate an already bad situation in which you feel you can make unreasonable demands, and if you don't, or the government or the port doesn't meet your demands, and you lock down the port, we're going to resist those situations. That's as far as I will go. Well, you probably have about 40-something of them. But when you have, look, down at the port, they pay about $28 million, $27 million to be precise, in salaries and wages. And when what's the name there? Telemac told us that the average pay at the port is $120,000, $20-something thousand for the 200-something people. We couldn't believe it.
So the staff complement is 200-something thousands, but the longshoremen is about 40-something thousand.
40-something, yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to recognize that if you end up with a runaway situation that every year they want 10%, for example, how you can sustain that? And then as a government, we must just turn a blind eye, let them bankrupt the port. The port can't pay its debt. The port can't meet its other obligations because we want to preserve ourselves in power. Now, we will certainly invite them to the table. We're not going to take any unilateral action, and have honest discussions with them, and to place all this information on the table and to see how we resolve these issues in a sustainable way. I'm told too that even at WEAC,
This is
that they
Antigua
changed their
Breaking
union.
News.
They decided they're going to Antigua Workers Union because they want Antigua Workers Union to fight WEAC to get increase in pay. Yeah, man, that drive truck and so on over there, $6,000 a month to get now. And again, I don't have no difficulty with people making money. Don't get me wrong. I love to see people make money. But when you go and you push and push and push and you want 10 and 15%, and then you become destructive, you undermine your own employment. And I want to remind them now, plenty young people out there can do their jobs. So don't prejudice your employment. And that's the message. I'm not threatening anyone. All I'm saying to these individuals, and I'm saying this out of love and care, you know, because if I didn't care, I would not be discussing this thing openly and subject myself to ridicule, because I know the ridicule coming. But I want to be in a position to say that they were forewarned.